back to the channel. Today we are in Phoenix and we are at
We're actually in Apache Junction, Arizona today, going to Goldfield's ghost town. We're going to do a mine tour and some gem panning and whatever else we can get into. So come along with us.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's see. It's kind of neat. There we go. Let's go. This is so neat. Let's walk around and just see what there is. It's kind of cool. This is called Goldfields. Oh, there's Hudson. Okay, don't be going on those, buddy. Just gonna walk through and just see what they got.
There's like this big barrel.
Yeah.
Restroom.
Look at this place.
It says Goldfield. Hey, look, there's a typewriter.
Wow.
It doesn't work, guys. It's too rusty.
That's neat. Don't miss.
It says voted best price gift shop in Arizona.
Yeah. Oh. This is neat.
So we're gonna go to jail. Let's go to jail. That's a better one. That's a better.
It's kind of neat. Oh, look at that. There's a jail. Jail rules. No complaining, no profanity, no loud talk. 2 visits to outhouse daily. Meals, beans, bread, water. Jail visits at sheriff's discretion. Hudson, look.
Going to jail.
The saloon.
Where was the other jail you saw, Mom?
Look how neat this is.
Did you find another jail?
No. It's that little jail.
Look at that old tractor or whatever it is. It's like steam powered or something. Yeah, that big cactus. No, don't climb on the rock, please. Ready? 3, 2, 1, picture. Still just looking around.
I'll get it. I'll get it for you.
That mountain, it's so pretty. Arizona we've only been here for just about 24 hours. And it's pretty incredible to see.
I got 7 points better than everyone. Daddy got like 600, and I got 5 or like 300, and I got 1,000.
Yeah.
We're gonna go in a bird cage. That one? Right there?
So neat. They're caught. Imagine you would probably be up. Caught up there. Cranes.
Give you more shots, is what Daddy's saying. Try to aim for the red, buddy.
How?
Keep going. Just shoot away, buddy. Oh, someone got that. Now they're moving.
I thought that was
Oh, now you're shooting up, buddy. Got 325. Close race. Morgan's got 225. Hudson's got 325. Ooh, she's up to 275. Oh, she's up to 500, buddy. You gotta hit something. Oh, she's up to 550. 575. 544. Up to 700. I figured out she's just gonna go crazy. Oh, you're out, buddy. Morgan, oh, she got to 1,000.
That's
I watched it so much because I do a
5-year time frame, 1893 to 1898. This is a 1,058-foot vertical shaft mine. 20 feet is what we're going to put to the ground today, but we're going to talk about all levels over the next 20 minutes. This building over here where you got your ticket that just a bit earlier, that would have been called the Hoist House back in the 1800s. The man that was working in that building would have been nicknamed the Hoist Man. Highest paid, most important miner in this mine. He was paid $5 a day. His responsibility was to get the miners in and out of the hole and the payload coming out of the gold. That's what made him so important. See that big cable right there? Goes right over that masthead. Goes right into this elevator shaft. That's what's at the bottom of the steps. You'll see that in a second. It would have been attached to that box there in the 1800s, where they would have put 9 miners in that cage. They would have carried them 40 minutes to the bottom of the mine. That's a steam-powered hoist, so it would have taken 40 minutes to get from the surface down to the 1,058-foot level. And behind you over there, that's a 20-man lift. Wow. Put 20 men in that box there and carried them down. Now, this defense of the size of the box, these guys started at the age of 13 years old. And they would have been much smaller bodies getting into the box. You see that square building there on the hill? That's a museum. If you get a chance today to go into that museum, they have a Doc Holliday suit in there. It's pretty impressive just to see that suit in itself. Nevertheless, he was a grown man in the 1860s. Okay. Now, most current 13-year-olds today would fit right in that suit. There you go, he was a grown man in the 1860s, is what I was getting at. Nevertheless, that's testimonial to how small these guys were getting into these cages back in the 1890s. 5 years we're going to talk about you guys were coming down the hill just now, 1893 to 1898. Come on down, guys. There's combustible fuels or oils. Everything was done by pure candlelight. So over the next 20 minutes, it's going to be about using your own imagination. I will remind you all the way through the tour the conditions these guys was working under. My tours are about the conditions, so a little bit more somber than the next guy's tour, but I would be honest about how they got the gold out of the rock. You guys ready to go to work? Let's go. These miners didn't have, one's going to be the lighting that's down here. Remember, everything was done by pure candlelight. 2, we keep it 70 degrees in the mine shaft. We use air conditioning to do that with. In June, July, and August here in Arizona, we get about 120 degrees up top in that desert, and that's quartz and granite that we're digging holes through. Both of those rocks would retain that heat, take it down to the bottom of the mine, so you wouldn't get a lot of relief at 1,058 foot. If you're 20 feet in the ground right now, at 20 feet, you feel surface temperatures and humidity at this level. And air conditioning keeps you guys comfortable. Miners didn't have these luxuries. They were down here to drill holes for dynamite. That big around, they need to go 7 feet into the wall. That's the depth of this rod here. They started out with a jack that looks just like this one. See that little star bit there on the end?
Yeah.
They're going to take that star bit there and they're going to place that right against this hard rock. They'll take a hammer about this size and slam it against that jack as hard as they can. They'll make a quarter turn and they'll do it again, and they'll do that for 10 to 12 hours. Each time they make the quarter turn, that star bit now turns into a slow drill. Each quarter turn just chips a little bit more of that rock right out of that hole. Now going to the wall about 6 inches with this single jack, and they'll move over to a 2-man operation. But before I explain that 2-man operation, let's set the mine shaft so you can understand the conditions they would have been working under. Ventilation down here would have been weak at best. You couldn't push all that dirt debris out of the mine shaft. Quartz and granite both, when you break them down to a smaller form, starts to turn into a powder with very sharp edges. That's glass shard. Miners only worked with a bandana material on their face, no protection from their eyes nor their lungs from that suspended glass shard. You guys ever driven your car in a foggy situation?
Yes.
You youngins ever seen a foggy day?
Yes.
That's the base of this mine shaft every day for these miners. You had those elements of difficulty. The second part of this job was a 2-man operation. One man would grab a bar similar to this one right here and do that quarter turn for you. Another one takes a 16-pound 2-handed sledgehammer, swings with all that might right here at this target. This is a place to ask yourself a question on this part of the tour. Who do you trust? Yeah. Sledgehammer around your head area with glass shards in your eyes in the candlelight. Whoever that is, that's love, is what we'll call that. This is what it would have taken for one blast in a mammoth mine. That hammer system I just described to you, we're taking them about 12 hours to drill just one of those 21 holes. They came out with the rock hammers, the 3 hammers that you saw on the wall behind me. When they started using those in a mammoth mine, it reduced that time to 3 hours a hole. Nevertheless, 21 holes took some time to get into the wall. Behind me is 21 holes loaded up with dynamite. And those sticks that you guys are carrying, they represent a stick of dynamite. We just didn't trust you guys with the fuses. Now, dynamite was never yellow. Did you guys know this? It was also never red. If you thought it was red, who thought it was red? It was always brown. You know how dynamite became red? Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner made it red. Looney Tunes made it. The cartoons did it. Nevertheless, it was always brown. But if you took one stick to the car park to put it in the biggest car you can find, one stick will disintegrate one car. When these miners were done with this hole here, it had 100 to 110 sticks of that same energy, that only created a 7-foot extension on this mine shaft. That's the depth of the rod that we just spoke about there. That's how hard this rock was. It was a 1,058-foot headache, but the payload coming out here was well worth it. We had no Bluetooth in the 1800s. Did you youngins know that?
Yes.
We had to blast from right down here. We didn't get to blast from up top. The mining company deemed that the safe, responsible distance on 110 sticks of dynamite would be a 55-second fuse.
Oh, wow.
If you recall, up top,
how long that
if you recall up top, it was a 40-minute ride down to the bottom of the mine. It's certainly a 40-minute ride to get out of the mine as well. That's a pretty good delta between those two numbers that these miners couldn't overcome, so they didn't. They were all down here in the hole when the blasting took place.
Wow.
Beyond that blast tunnel there's a cave at the other side. They get hunkered in, they get safe there, but one miner has to come back and light this fuse. Do you guys recall how old they are when they started?
13.
Low man on the totem pole, huh?
Yeah.
13, 14, and 15-year-olds typically who lights these fuses. And just to set this mine shaft a little further for you, there's no lighting in here. We talked about that already.
The candle running.
These floors are not conditioned in the manner they are for you guys to walk through here either. That one miner does come back in, he lights that fuse, he yells fire in the hole of those miners, they get hunkered in and they're safe. One miner down there has a candle above his head, that's a beacon for this one here to run to. He's got 55 seconds to run 200 yards in the pitch black. I'll show you what that looks like.
Yeah.
The pitch black, not the run. Nevertheless, they collected over 200 ounces of gold per 7-foot extension in any direction in this mine for the first 500 feet down. They collected 75,000 ounces of gold out of the Mammoth Mine over 5 years. That's equivalent to $100 million in gold today. Candles, remember, they had a better candle than me, too. This is an old Walmart candle. They would have had a candle that would have had an animal tallow or an animal fat to them. Typically, they used the pig fat in their candles back in those days. Nevertheless, they were gold to these miners. They would not have lit that first candle until they got down to this 1,058-foot level. They all started out with 4, but you didn't want to be the only one down here at the bottom without a candle, especially if something happened. So they lit this only when they needed to. They opened up that mine shaft at 1,058 foot. They put that candle on a spike on the wall and they commenced their drills and hammers.
Wow.
Now, their candles would have been much brighter than this candle here for sure, but we can counter their brightness because their mine shaft wouldn't have been as crisp and clean as ours.
Yeah.
Throw that dirt and debris back in here, get that light echo in your peripheral vision, a little candle flicker going on, get some glass shards in your eyes. I pinged that hammer twice. They did it 10 to 12 hours. I barely swung. They swung with all their might.
Yeah.
We don't begin to talk about hearing.
I was gonna say.
A couple times they wouldn't light this candle, though. One's going to be right here in front of this wagon. Anybody know what this might be?
Is that
A
the cart?
cooking thing.
It's the other end of that cooking thing. It's the toilet.
Ooh.
Oh.
This would be the miner's toilet. It was called the honey wagon back in the 1800s. It was pushed by a man called the honey dipper back in those days. That honey dipper was the lowest paid miner in the mine. He just got paid $2 a day for this work. To put that in context for you, remember up top, the hoistman got $5 a day to get the miners in and out of the hole. These miners doing that hard work we're talking about down here, whether they were drilling, blasting, or running, they got paid $3 a day. They had no profit share in their job. This one got paid $2. The national average up top was about $1 a day. Local bread was about a nickel. All the wages in the Mammoth Mine were pretty wealthy wages, actually. Besides that, all this gentleman needed to do was push this wagon up and down the mine shaft, looking for anybody that needed its services. At the end of the day, he took it to the elevator where he had pots waiting. You know what they were called?
James Potts.
They would. You would think so. They'd be called the honey pots. They sure are. Now, the honey dipper under these same lighting conditions would have then grabbed his dipping tool and he would have then dipped the contents right out of this wagon into those pots waiting at that elevator, and he'd have taken about a 40-minute ride right on back up to the top of the mine. Gotta hope it's not June, July, and August when that's going on. Gotta also hope that steam powered hoist don't get too shaky on the way out either, because that's going to get awful crappy.
What you did there.
To the top, he takes those buckets well out to the desert, dumps them out, cleans them up, gets them all back out there. For $2 a day he was paid, and we're looking for somebody right now for 10.
Any
Same
takers?
response I get on every tour. Nevertheless, you got checked for gold when you come out of these gold mines back in the 1800s, and you'll get checked for gold when you come out of these active gold mines today too. But there's no historical document that says anybody was checking these honeypots on the way out the door. He might have been the lowest paid miner in my folks, but he might have been the richest, smartest man in the territory. How about that $10 now? Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
This is one of those times they would not light that candle. Oh, thank God, turn the light off. 2 would be a 15-minute break. They'd sit down there and have their lunch. But I want to take you someplace you can only get there by using your own imagination. Put yourselves in the shoes of a 13-year-old that just started this mine for the very first time today and just entered that elevator. He's taking that descent down into this mine shaft, never been to the bottom before. At 700 feet, he loses that light above him. 350 feet takes about 10 to 12 minutes to get down, and it's done like this. They wouldn't have had that nice shirt you got there, young man. No.
I'm scared. Hey, my shirt's glowing.
It is.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wave your hands in front of your face. Can you see your hands?
No.
No, kinda.
You can't because you're shirt.
Can we turn?
Yep, they're coming on. Ready? Watch your eyes. These lights are coming
Oh, it's
on.
gonna be bright.
Here's what you call a stope area here. There's many of these in the Mammoth Mine. Some of these are natural voids. Some of them have been blasted in for safe zones and staging areas. The concrete slurry that you see in this is the only place on this claim that you're going to find this technology. It is a mining technique, but it's not something that was used in the Mammoth Mine. It's something that came out in the 1900s. This is the only area on this claim that you'll find that. The Mammoth Mine is comprised of hard rock walls and that blast tunnel that you just came through. Did you guys happen to notice the planking on the walls in there?
Yeah.
Did you notice that small rubber right behind that planking?
Yeah.
That allows that planking to shift and move with the natural movement of the earth. It also allows for that blasting to go back and forth through there. It links to a system just like this one here. This is called a honeycomb system. It was designed in the 1860s. And the thing about it is, if you can identify with Lincoln Logs or Legos, this is the exact same system. Nothing holds this together other than its own weight that allows it to move in any direction. So what makes that key is that it takes that blasting off from any direction. This system here can move 360 degrees. So it's pretty key to the mine. That said, the Mammoth Mine, we're 7 levels into the ground. This is a 1,058-foot vertical shaft mine. We have 4 major lifts that come down to the bottom. It's a diamond-shaped gold vein. A big old round thing at the top and tapers real nice and big into the ground as well. 7 levels, miles of mine shafts coming up each one of those levels as we carve that gold vein down to that 1,058-foot level. I tell you all that to tell you this. We've been fighting flood-like conditions in this mine since the 200-foot level, just based on natural water in our earth. We have pumps just like this one right here installed at every single level. These are gravity pumps. So each time a miner pushes this lever back and forth, you just move water a little bit further up the top. You have 7 levels. Each level needs to get water from their level up to the next, and they'll step this water right back out of here. This is potable water too, so we can use it down here for our miners. We can use it up top for our townspeople and our tools. So my story to you earlier about the 4 candles and a gallon of water, true down to 200 foot in the hydration piece. After that, we have more hydration down here than we can handle. We're pumping water out of here. That natural water is enough water to flood out our mine completely if it's left unchecked. So it kind of turns us into that 24/7 operation. You're going to get water off the bottom, might as well get the gold at the same time. And then the statistics on these pumps levels are about 150 feet apart, give or take a little bit. Water weighs 8 pounds a gallon, that's absolute. So each time a miner pushes that lever back and forth, that's about a 1,200 pound push. They get paid the same $3 a day that the miners get paid for the drilling, blasting, and running, and there's no profit share there either. Now, with that said, when we get overconsumed with water, which we do every single year, the very first gold nuggets found for this mine were found in 1892 by 4 miners that were panning this washout here after one of our great monsoons. You guys understand our monsoon system? It drops feet of water at one time. On inches, these are superstorms. Rolls across that earth up there like concrete, finds low spots in the top of this mine every single year. Those first gold nuggets were found out in the middle of that wash. They sunk the first of 4 mine shafts right in the middle of that wash. Monsoons were going to always be a problem for us. That's initially what these pumps were installed for. As a shallow mine, we just take that water right back out of here using those pumps. As we started getting deeper into the ground, formalizing those 7 levels, miles of mine shafts, we can take that water off the bottom of the mine up to those depleted mine shafts, run it down there and park that water. That's quartz and granite. It'll hold that water indefinitely while we scrape the payload right off the bottom of this mine. And that's how we cycled the water out here for over 5 years. However, in 1898, we learned that Arizona also parked its largest body of water, 1,058 foot from the ground. Coincidentally, I've been telling you our mine shafts at depth, and like a lot of hard rock mines out here in the west, we punched into that water aquifer, and it started bubbling water into the bottom of the mine. It became too much in 1898, too much for these miners to handle. We had to vacate. When we vacated out, that water table continued to lift, slowly filling in this mine to eventually completely fill us in and separate our gold and men. That's what turned us into the ghost town that you guys are visiting today as well. And we lasted 5 years as a town and 5 years as a mine. In those 5 years, though, we became larger than Mason, Phoenix per capita, population-wise. We had more people here than anywhere else in Arizona territory. But there was nothing else out here to sustain life other than this mine. Mason, Phoenix was a day's ride away from here, so I packed up and moved on. The vested interest was $100 million in gold. Remember that piece? That's only part, though. We also pulled silver and copper out of this mine, too. When the math on all the precious metals was done, it was the silver that paid for this entire operation. The gold and the copper, pure profit.
Wow. Amazing.
How much gold did you find in this giant cave?
This here, so the miners that were here in the 1800s, they found over $100 million in gold. That was just in those 5 years. And then they came down here again and they got another million in the 1920s. But it cost them $3 million to get the one in the 1920s. So they quit mining after that.
Behind you there's a cave, but that's where they had to run.
They would have got safe into that cave. Yep, so in the mine shaft down below us, this cave right here would have been turned around backwards. So it would have been facing the opposite direction because your blasting is going to come from that way there. So it wouldn't lead into that tunnel, it would lead the other way. So this tunnel here would be facing that direction. So then see how this wall is contoured kind of like outwards? So that's how they would have wide off out of their mine shaft. They would have taken off this way here, come back into the wall with that blasting coming down that tunnel right there. It would have contoured right off of those miners and followed that mine shaft down. They would have been safe inside that little cave there. Not their ears so much, but they would have been safe physically. Good question. Any other questions? All right, guys, with that, we'll conclude our tour. I know a lot of you guys got combo tickets, didn't you? So you're going to be going to the Mystery Shack next. We're going to go up these stairs, and I'm just going to, the Mystery Shack will be immediately to the left. When you get up there, I'll collect all your sticks at the door. Straight will take you right into town. Right will take you to the train station in the parking lot. If I did you guys a good job as a tour guide, get back upstairs. Thank you so very much for being here today, guys.
Thank you.
You're not from Arizona. I learned this from here at Hardwick because I'm not from here either. You're dehydrated when you woke up this morning. You got to drink a lot of water.
A little lesson on cannons of gold. So you see it's going to be dry sand that I'll put in your pans. Go on this side of the building and the water trough's out here. The water's cleaner out there. So the first thing I want you to do is get some water in your pan, get that sand really wet and saturated and swish it around the pan for just a bit. So the reason you do this is you want to get everything heavy to the bottom, like the gold, the pyrite, and the heavier gemstones. And you see the pan has ridges on it, so I keep those ridges out in front. Then I just put the nose of the pan down in the water about that angle, and I just do a straight back and forth motion like that. So you see with each stroke how the top layer of the sand works its way off and out of the pan. You want to be moving some sand out of your pan, or you're going to be out there all day. That gets tiring. But while you're doing it, you shouldn't. But while you're doing this, watch for some gemstones. Not all the gems will get to the bottom. Oh my, look at that. That's a leverite. It's a rock.
I think
I'm going to leave it right there. Sorry, rock human. Yep, so there's a gemstone there. Good eye. So you want to pull that out, put it in your little vial.
I do have good eyes.
You do. And you'll be able to see the gemstones. They're very brightly colored because that's what your little vial should look like when you're all done. Colorful gemstones, iron pyrite,
I see
and
gold. You know, like a bunch of people like
So cool. The water comes down. Oh, that's fast. Should definitely check this place out. It's been fun so far. The tour was fun. And the kids have been loving it. Especially the panning for gems, and eventually here we'll be panning for gold.
And then shift it a little, right?
like that.
Yeah.
Shake it.
I think you gotta use the water, right? Ooh, Morgan, I see a big one right there. Ooh, let's see this.
Like this?
Dip it in the water, bud. You got to turn it around.
Water in there already, remember?
Set it that. Turn it around that way.
Oh.
There you go.
Oh, it's gold.
And then now you pick it back up.
Ooh, look at. Okay, so you guys pick out.
And just carefully go through and see what you got.
I got gold.
Okay.
Oh, I got some too. I got
Those are the gemstones, kids.
Well, it's gold.
Oh, okay.
Whatever you get, Daddy's got your bag.
Okay. This looks like obsidian.
Dad's gonna want to check out all these stones.
Which one is mine?
Yours is down. I think we should just keep this bag.
Yeah, keep it like.
Yeah. I gotta clear something.
Cool. We're gonna start panning for gold. Panning for gold.
The first step is to put water in the container.
Yep, panning for gold.
Oh, I'm so nervous, Mom. I can't do it.
So we're in this cool little gift shop. There's a lot of cool things in here. I actually really like this Arizona Goldfield Ghost Town sweatshirt. It's really neat. But yeah, pretty cool in here. Come check it out. Now that is an expensive rock. See if I can get it to come in. $750. Some really funny towels here. And then there's some really cool kind of signs. It's my favorite right here. Some salsa.
Bring Larry back some Arizona hash. Oh, it's glass though.
Oh, yeah. Probably too big.
Huh.
Alright,
Welcome.
we're back. Hey.
Hi.
Hi guys, we just finished up at Goldfield Ghost Town. We did gold mining and gem panning. We went down a real mine shaft and saw what the miners did back in the 1800s. What'd you think, guys?
Gold. It was amazing. I'm so happy we found real gold. And it was cool to learn like about the shaft that there's 13-year-olds just like doing the work, and it took a while, and they were only given like 3 candles and then 1 gallon of water to do all that work.
And also, there was this boy, and they had to like ignite something so that they could like make a bigger pathway, and like you only have like 25 seconds to like run back before you get.
Yeah, the dynamite, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So overall, was a really fun time. Highly recommend coming out to Goldfield Ghost Town.
Yes.
It was very fun and informative and kid friendly, obviously. So, and as we came here, it was not very busy, and as we were leaving, it is getting packed. So glad
I
we
would
are
come
heading
early
Yes.
if you're coming, because then you get kind of access to the entire town, and there won't be many people on the mine tour or the different activities. So get out here early and enjoy the spectacular views out here as well too.
All right, so this is Morgan and Hudson's Fun, wrapping it up at Goldfield's Ghost Town. And what do we got to say, Hudson?
Make sure to like and subscribe and turn on those notifications so that you know when we're posting new videos. Bye!